Congressman James Comer joins me now. All right, Congressman, who are you going to subpoena first?
Well, we're going to request that 4 staffers that we've identified as the main gatekeepers for the Biden White House, that they come and answer our questions. We're also requesting that Dr. O'Connor come. That's the first step towards a subpoena.
Well, tell me first who these 4 people voluntarily are. Who are the 4?
Well, there are no names that anyone that normally watches Fox would know. They're behind the scenes. They fly under the radar. These are the unelected bureaucrats that we believe had an overwhelming influence over Joe Biden and could have possibly been serving as de facto presidents of the United States. The first step to issue a successful subpoena is to offer someone an invitation, a sincere request to come in and answer questions. If they do not, the next step will be the subpoenas. I agree with everything that the last person said about subpoenas, except the special counsel. I think that we can do that in Congress. We're going to bring these people in for depositions and transcribed interviews, and we're going to ask every question that a good journalist like yourself, Jesse, would ask. The American people want to know this. Momentum's on our side. New evidence has emerged just in the last few days, and I think that all eyes will be watching this new investigation by the House Oversight Committee.
So you don't want to say the names, and that's fine. Maybe you don't want to tip anybody off, or maybe establish at least kind of a decent relationship with this thing. Would you expect to subpoena Hunter and Dr. Jill?
Yeah, I think we're going to start with these and see where the road goes. You know, what I said back during the end of the Biden administration, that our sources were telling us that Hunter Biden was spending more time in the Oval Office than Joe Biden.
Wow.
I said on some shows that Hunter Biden was essentially the de facto chief of staff. And people like Jake Tapper made fun of me on the liberal CNNs, and I think Morning Joe did as well. Now Jake Tapper's doing interviews saying, yeah, it looks like Hunter Biden was the de facto chief of staff. That's exactly word for word what I said. But if you have an incompetent president who was a mental invalid, like most Americans are coming to realize, then the de facto chief of staff was essentially the president of the United States. So this is very serious. And when you've got someone like Hunter Biden that everyone agrees was on the take and had zero morals and zero ethics, this is a huge problem. And I think that every American deserves answers. And we're going to bring every single person that was involved in this cover-up in front of Congress and ask them all the questions that the American people deserve to have answers for.
So what are the Democrats on your committee going to do? I mean, because they've said that Biden was shot. They've acknowledged that there was a cover-up. Are they going to fight you? Or are they going to go along?
Oh, they'll fight us. That's all they do. They obstruct. They take their talking points from George Soros and the Democrat National Committee. Remember, they fought us saying that Joe Biden was ethical. They fought us when we said Joe Biden was in mental decline. You had people like Dan Goldman and Jamie Raskin go on even Fox News, in addition to the liberal mainstream media networks, and say that, no, they just talked to Joe Biden and he was tip-top. He was in great physical condition. He was at the top of his game. Now they're coming back covering the track saying, yeah, it looks like he was in mental decline. Well, we all know he's in mental decline. What we need to know is who was calling the shots at the White House. And one thing that was also mentioned on your show thus far is that when you sign a document that has legal implications, it has to be signed personally. It can't be signed by an auto pen. You use auto pen for proclamations and mass letters and things like that. So I think that if we can understand more about the auto pen and whether or not Joe Biden authorized it, I think this could lead to a lot of those executive orders being kicked out in court.
All right. And when do you expect these subpoenas to go out?
Well, the letters have already gone out to the staffers as well as Dr. O'Connor. So if we don't hear anything from them in a week, then I would expect to start seeing subpoenas.
And if they fight the subpoena, what do you do?
We'll go to court. Jesse, they're going to try to plead executive privilege, and they're lawyering up, and we're ready. That's why we're making sure every I's dotted and every T's crossed. The best thing that's happened in the last week with respect to this is all the new books that are coming out and all the former Biden staffers who are trying to cover their tracks. You're going to see people like Pete Buttigieg who think they have political futures come forward and say, we didn't know anything. There were gatekeepers. They wouldn't let us speak with Joe Biden. And the more that comes out, the easier it's going to be to get to the truth.
All right. We'll follow that closely. Thank you so much, Congressman. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.